hello. It is once again another Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Authors Network Spotlight. Today we have Dr. Kemberly McKenzie. She's going to come on in here. This is a woman on for sure. And when you see her, you can understand why. Come on in, Dr. McKenzie. What's going on, girl on fire? What's going on?
Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes.
Yes. Girl on fire. Girl on fire. Look, look, go ahead and sing it. I just really wanted to get into this interview. I have been so excited to sit down with you, Dr. Kim, and get to know you a little more and talk about your books and just your writing experience all together. So again, everybody, this is our Authors Network Spotlight, and we're going to go on and get on in. So Dr. Kimberly, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for this opportunity, Tiffany. I appreciate you and your magazine and what you're doing. You're helping so many women, helping so many people get healthy and get fit. Just meeting you inspired me to get back to exercising, but we're not going to tell part 2 of that. But so I'm so glad to have met your acquaintance. I am Dr. Kemberly McKenzie. I am a native of Washington, D.C. Woo, woo. I am from the DMV area. I was born in D.C., raised in Maryland. And I have lived in, I want to say, 4 states now. I've lived in Pennsylvania. I lived in Harrisburg. I lived in Philadelphia. I lived in Chicago. And now I reside here in the Metro Atlanta area in Georgia. So what's that? Born in Washington, D.C., raised in Maryland, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Yeah, 5. So 5 states. So you can just pretty much say I'm a city girl. I love the city. I love being able to go to the corner and buy a bag of homegirl chips at midnight. But I also like the quietness and the still of the suburbs. I'm sort of the country life a little bit.
Yeah.
I am the youngest of 3, and my mom calls me baby girl. So I'm baby girl. I have an older brother, and a sister, and pretty much I'm an educator. I've been in education for over 24 years. I'm also a special educator. I've been in special education for 20 years. Matter of fact, this makes my 22nd year in special education. I've taught in Pennsylvania, Illinois, and now in the Atlanta area. And that's my heart. I love teaching. I love serving. I'm a missionary. I travel abroad to serve young children and their families in dilapidated areas, low economic areas. I've been to Dominican Republic. I've been serving in Cape Town, South Africa for 22 years now. No, for 12 years. I'm sorry, 12 years. 12 years. I started in 2010, and that there is my heart. I love serving people. I love helping people. I love pushing people past stuck.
Wow. Thank you for what you do. That is so amazing. Oh my gosh. I would love to do some missionary work. So if we can
Yes,
talk about that, just how I could get started in that. I would love to chat with you about
absolutely.
that. So let's get into your book, Night Vision. What
Woo!
is Night Vision? What is that all about?
Yes.
Yes.
Night vision. You see the woods, and you probably can't see it closely, but there's an individual, and there's a little
Yeah.
light, and that's more or less like a cell phone light.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what that night is. The cover represents my experience. I was on the weight loss kick, trying to be healthy, decided to go for a walk. Someone was supposed to go with me. They didn't answer. Another person didn't answer. So I decided to take a walk myself and decided to go on a new trail.
Yeah.
And I always walk around Stone Mountain, and Stone Mountain is such that where you start, you end. Whether
Okay.
you go all the way around the mountain or whether you maybe walk out a mile or a half a mile and come back, you're always going to end where you start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this wasn't this particular trail. I parked across the street, walked across the street. I started walking on the trail. I thought the trail would circle back around to my car. After a couple of hours, I'm still walking. It's getting dark and no car. And eventually I had to call the police. And the police couldn't find me. The police couldn't get to me. And I was scared to death. I was scared to death. And actually, this picture, it shines a little more light than I had because it started off like this, but the deeper I got into the trail, the trees ambiance, so it blocked the stars and the moon. It was a beautiful night out. The stars were shining bright, the moon was shining bright, but it wasn't making it between the trees.
Wow. Oh,
And
wow.
so it was
Very.
pitch black. And that's what night vision is about. Is from that experience, God gave me 21 lessons, 21 little practicality lessons on how we can see our way through any situation. Doesn't matter how dark or bleak it might look. If we change our perspective, if we use some night goggles, a night vision device, whatever that might be for you, that you're able to see your way through any situation. So that's the essence of it.
Wow, that's a really scary experience, though. I mean, oof, just
Yeah,
being lost in the woods, you know. And
yeah,
I love to hike. I mean, I'm always putting things out there, and but just wow.
yeah.
Now, how long were you in the woods for?
So for since the and that's the crazy part. I don't even remember. I know that I was talking to a friend about 8:15ish, 8:20, and I was like, shoot, I might have to call the police to come get me. I was just joking. So that was even a lesson in me. Watch your words. Your words are powerful. Your
Mhm.
words have life.
Sure
Because
do.
maybe less than 10, 15 minutes later, I really was calling the police. And I thought that they would be able to get to me within 5 or 10 minutes. I wasn't worried. But when they started asking me all these questions, like, where'd you say you were? What do you see around you? Do you see any mile markers? Do you see any cars? Do you see a road? And I'm like, wait, ho. Can y'all find the person who created this park? Can you go get the ranger? Can you get a
Right.
helicopter? Somebody gotta get me. I don't even know how long I was there from the time that I spoke with them, but I know it was at least an hour or so.
Mhm. Mhm.
I know it was a minimum at least an hour or so.
Wow.
When they came, I was just so frantic. I wasn't even paying attention to time. When I got
Mhm.
home, I didn't even know what time it was. I was still shaking.
Yeah.
Um, and that lasted for at least a week or two. Just, you know, I wouldn't even drive that way. Like I would go a half an hour outside of my way, not to even go
Wow.
towards the park. And it took almost about 6 months for me to even understand where I was when the police found me, because I still don't know where, I still didn't
Yeah.
know where I
Yeah.
was. I saw the street name, but I didn't know where that was. I had walked from one county to the next.
Oh,
And when
wow.
I called the police and they were like, Henry County, I'm like, no. My name is Kemberly McKenzie. I'm in DeKalb County. I'm and they like,
Yeah.
hold on. So yeah, it was
Wow.
very, very traumatic. Very
Yeah.
traumatic.
I mean,
Something
and that's very understandable, that you would have, go through that experience where you don't want to drive around there and things. I mean, I've had that experience where I had a traumatic situation at a building and I could not drive past that building without having a panic attack. So I really
yeah,
feel you on that. It's definitely a little bit of that PTSD,
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to overcome that. So tell me, so who is your intended audience for night vision?
For night vision, I really was coming for, and I know they say you need to specify like men, women, boys, girls. And I'm really for, I would say like more or less like that middle age group where all you're seeing is darkness now. You're in your 40s, you're in your 50s. You feel you have more years behind you than you have before you. And
Mm,
so you think that all you've done is all there is, but there's still more. But what's to come is still dark to you. You can't see it, you can't visualize it because you're thinking you're on your way out of here. when in actuality, we're in our prime now. And so night vision is for that middle-aged audience, male and female alike. And it has practical truths just to help you get through your day-to-day experiences, or when you have trouble or situations that approach you that you weren't expecting, you didn't plan for it, and now you have to get yourself together for it. Well, that's who night vision is for. Like if you're stuck, you can't see, you can't envision good happening, you've lost hope, night vision is for you. If you don't know how to maneuver your way through trials and tribulation, night vision is for you. So pretty much more or less that middle age group, that's just there, in the in between. I'm not.
Right. This is your best life. This is the second half best life, right?
Yeah.
And I know so many people that are out there that get into their 40s. Oh my God, now I'm old and I can't do the things that I wanted to do. No, you can do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. I mean, whenever I think about, whenever people say that they can't, and this, this part of their life is the worst part, I think about Ernestine Shepherd. She is my shero. She started weightlifting in her 50s. I want to say she was 53 years old. Now she's in her 80s and she's still out there working out. She's running her own gym. She's doing the doggone thing. So you can start wherever you are in life. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could be 75 years old and you have a famous recipe that you make all the time that people just love, and you start a business with that.
Yes.
Especially today with the way that the world is with, the internet and being able to, really be, get the exposure that you need. There's no excuse out there, people. There's no excuse.
So if you put in the in between, like, I'm not where I used to be, or I'm not who I'm used to be, and I'm going this way, and I'm not really sure, and I'm kind of, fumbling my way through, night vision is
it's gonna make it better. Just make you more resilient.
Absolutely.
So really, what was your purpose and motivation for writing the book? I know you always have to have kind of that why. So what was your purpose and motivation?
That, and it's good that you asked that, because initially when it happened, I had a week of mishaps, like a string of events, and all the way to getting diagnosed with a rare disease, and them not being able to even put their hands on the medication because they don't stock it, because it was rare, and it was definitely rare for people in America. And so I had that type of week. So I went to Bible study, and I just, went to my pastor. I was like, hey, a lot of things are going on. I need prayer. It's just too much. And he was like, yeah, well, what was up with you getting lost in the woods? I said, don't talk about that. I'm still processing that. I'm still getting through that. He was like, well, God is trying to tell you something. So I'm joking around. I was like, well, what is he saying? He was like, he's trying to tell you something. I said, well, look, if he tell you before he tell me, let me know. Let us sister know. I need to know, because this thing almost took me out.
Right. Yes.
And I began to pray about it and ask God, okay, Lord, what are you saying? What are you trying to get to me? And I had a dream that particular night, and in this dream I was fighting, and I was so mad, and I was so angry. So I thought he was trying to tell me, don't be angry, let go of anger, and so I just started thinking about stuff that had pissed me off in life, and just releasing those things. But that wasn't it. It wasn't until I told you a string of things happened that week. I ended up on the news that week from my job. A parent complained about me in the school. My principal had told me that we were going to be on the news, but he said it was going to be the 6:00 news. So I was like, well, let me go get my nails and feet and hair done, just relax and just woosah today. And then I'll go home and, watch the news. I sent something to my godparents and them, hey, I'm supposed to be on the 6:00 news with that situation, pray, whatever. And I'm sitting there, and the lady's doing my feet, and I hear Dr. Kemberly McKenzie and principal, and I look up and I see my face on the thing, and they say all the stuff that we supposedly did. And I'm sitting in this place like embarrassed. And
Wow.
I'm saying, like, what else could happen? Like, I got lost in
Mhm.
the woods. I got diagnosed with a rare disease 2 days
Mm.
later. And now, then 2 days later, I am on the news, like the news.
Right.
And I found out it made national news later. I didn't know at that moment. But anyway, my phone started going off. People were texting me. Love you, Dr. Kim. Love you, Prophetess McKenzie. Love you, Minister McKenzie. People, and I was just like, oh God, they done seen the news. But this one particular lady from my church had texted me, and I called her back. And so she was like, what's going on? Then I say, don't worry about it. It's not true. The district stands behind us, blah, blah, blah. So she said, well, I said, I'm still stuck back in the woods. That's where my mind is. I don't even care about this. And so then
Mhm.
she said, so how did you get out of the woods? And I said, I had to keep walking. I said, the darker it got, the more I walked. The more I walked, the darker it got. I just had to keep walking. And when I
Mhm.
said that to her, I got chills. And then I said, that's
Wow.
it. Keep walking. And so
Yeah.
now I'm sitting in this nail salon, boo-hooing, broke down, and like this. I gotta keep
Oh,
walking. I gotta keep walking. And when I got home
mm.
that night, I started jotting things down. Keep walking. What does that mean? And then he just started giving me things. The next day I went to work and I was telling one of my coworkers, and she was saying things, different things. And as she was talking, I was getting stuff. And before you knew it, I had 21 things that
Wow.
God had given me, like principles or truths or um, something, simplicity that you can follow. And I just started writing it down. And that's where the book derived from.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens when we get that download from our, from God. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is just absolutely amazing. Wow, that gave me chills. When you said keep walking, like,
Keep
yeah.
walking.
I
Keep
mean, because that's
going.
no matter how dark it gets
Keep
in
going.
life,
Yes.
keep walking. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get out is by keep walking. So that is
Yes.
so powerful, Dr. Kim. Wow.
Yes.
Whew. So, what would you say to an aspiring writer or author? What would you tell them on just
Keep
what's a
writing.
that's
Keep writing. I would let them know that there is a story in you. You have something to say, and you have to take yourself off mute. Whether you voice it with your mouth or whether you write it with pen and paper, there is a story in you. You have been through something. You have some level of expertise in an area. You might not be the top authority on it, but there is something in you that someone needs to hear or see from you. And the way I put it is like, you might there some let's say you're a single parent, right? um you may not hit the 10 audience. You might be a new single parent, and there's some truths that you learn just by being a new single parent. And let's just say you're not a 10, but you're a 2. Well, guess what? A 1 comes under 2. So all
right.
those ones need to hear from you. If you're a 5, the 1 through 4 need to hear from you. So
Yes.
between your experience and between what you know, there is a story in you. And the
Mhm.
best thing I can tell you is you start a word, one words become sentences, sentences become paragraphs, paragraphs become pages, pages become chapters, chapters become books. So it's in you and you can do it. The same way you schedule to go to the barber shop, to go to the nail salon, to go to the doctor, the same way you have time you go to work, you have to schedule yourself to write. And even if nothing comes while you're sitting there, you be faithful to that time. And as you faithful to the writing process will become faithful to you. So get the writing and then keep writing.
Yes, love that. Love it. So when you because you have two books out, so
Yeah,
we want to
yeah.
talk about your first book as well. What's the name of the first book?
It's called Kim. My name is Kemberly Elaine McKenzie, so Kem. So it's called Kim. Keep everything moving, letting adversity guide you to destiny.
Awesome. Love that. Now, when you started writing, because I know for myself, I went into writing the chapter in the Queen Boss Rise in 2019. I went in there kicking and screaming. I really didn't want to do it. I was not trying to be an author. I didn't feel like I knew how to write, didn't feel like I had that any type of skill there. And it was horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, when you like just first started thinking, okay, I'm gonna write this book. I'm gonna write a book. How did it make you feel? I mean, were you scared? Like, and if you were, how did you get over it? Like, just how did that process go for you?
Yeah, initially, it's just like, where do you start? What do you say? And then all of those insecurities come up. Who's going to listen to me? It's a whole lot of authors out there. Why me? Nobody's going to listen to me. I'm just me. So you kind of dummy yourself down initially. But at the end of the day, you know it's an assignment. You know it's something you have to do. And so I did what I just said to do. I started scheduling writing time. Still had no clue or no idea what I was going to write about. And I met this guy who ended up being my publisher. I purchased a couple of his books at an event, and he sent me an outline. He said, "This is what you need to do." And so I looked at his outline. But when I was in school, I could write. I love reading and writing, so I already had that on my side. But when in school they made you put an outline together, and you were supposed to write from the outline.
Mm-hmm.
Never, ever. I always wrote first, and then came back and created my outline from what I wrote.
Oh, okay.
But you have to know who you are. You might need the outline so that you can have your bullet points and your outline are that's your chapter, and then your bullet points, that's the meat of your chapter, and so forth. So I had to do that. Like, I had to learn the writing process. And I'm going to be honest with you, this first book, it didn't come together. It came together as I was writing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It came together as I was writing. I didn't even plan my chapters. I started writing, and this is more about my life, my story, a lot about what I've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I was writing things, I got it. Everybody that know me know I love twins. I wanted twins, triplets, quadruplets, whatever. I love twins. Best friends are twins. Favorite aunt and uncle are twins. Favorite cousins are twins. I love twins.
Wow.
And in this book, the way God gave it to me, each chapter is a twin name. So, for example, chapter 1 is called Deception and Perception.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Chapter 2, Birth and Death Certificates.
Mm.
Chapter 3, Mishandled and Mistreated. And so it was just like, in this particular one, I didn't have a rhyme or reason. I just started writing.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew I was writing about my life. So if you read it, it'll go back to something in my childhood, but then it'll come back to where I am now. So that one was that one. Now, Night Vision was more succinct.
Yeah.
I had 21 lessons, and I knew I was going to write about those 21 lessons. So this was more simpler, more simplified.
Yeah.
But when I first started the writing process, I was a little nervous and just didn't know where to start, where to begin. I started connecting with other people, like other authors, other people that wrote, joined book clubs, just to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you even start? So now I've started something called Brains to Book, where I help people start to write their book. I help you with the writing process because nobody helped me. I had to figure it all out on my own.
Yeah.
Meeting a publisher, and he said, "You do it this way." And so, so it was nervousness and scary and just a clueless, like, what am I going to write about? I've been through so much. I know so much. I have so much. Where do we start? And so I kind of help people with that to kind of narrow it in, because your first book is not it doesn't have to be your only book. It's just your first book.
Right. Yeah.
And once you write that one, all the ones after that come easy.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love what you said about, just writing, just sitting down and just writing, because we tend to try to be so much for the perfection. At least I know myself, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I have to do it exactly the way that they say you have to write it. And that I think was my biggest challenge in trying to write. And it's interesting because I did kind of the same thing when I was a visionary author for the Becoming a Girl Powerhouse, and I said, let me just get it all out.
Mm-hmm.
And it made it a lot easier. And I had to drop that perfectionist. Like, no, you know what? It's going to come out perfectly perfect the way it's supposed to.
Right.
You don't have to worry about how you're going to make it perfect.
Right.
Because it's going to come out perfect because of what you're doing and the message that you're bringing out there. So,
right.
No, so I love that.
Yeah. Don't be
afraid. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of any other questions that I have, because I have quite a few other questions. Well, what is something that what's next for you? Are you looking at any other books? What's next? What's on the horizon for you?
Oh, wow. Woo. Okay. So first I want to say I did this book and I gave it to the publisher the end of November. And I told them I wanted to get it out in 2020 because it was called Night Vision, 2020 Vision. And they turned this book around and it was ready to go to publish it in 2020. However, I felt that I was supposed to do a journal, like a workbook to it. And so it didn't come out in December 2020. It actually came out December. It came out 12/21/21. Okay. And I birthed out twins. Well, the ebook came out first, went on Amazon, became an Amazon bestseller, made the list. Woo! This girl is on fire. And then I've dropped I had people pre-order the ebook, and it was released on the 21st, December 21st, 21, 12/21/21. And then I released these. And so we haven't had our virtual signing, book signing yet. We're about to have them. The shipment came in damaged and we had to send them back. And it's because of the time we're living in. It takes a while for you to get stuff. So right now I'm in the process of putting together a 21-day devotional. I have a new line of clothing that's coming out, and I was going to wear it, but I didn't want to look down. I wanted to kind of look up. But I have t-shirts and hoodies and stuff that says thankful period. And now we're coming out with some new ones called grateful period. It's grateful time. It's grateful season. And I'm actually about to advertise. I'm a certified life coach. And so I'm getting ready to advertise. I'm going to try to take in 5. I want to do a cohort of 5 where a group of people go together for 6 months. And so they can push their visions and dreams and goals out. And so that's what's next. The actual virtual book signing, because right now we're still in pre-order. So the book signing, and then the launching of my new products with my t-shirts and hoodies, and then advertising for my coaching. And I'm hoping that by the end of April, if I focus myself, I probably can get the 21-day done by March. But because I'm in a process of moving, selling a house and all of that, I didn't want to, have too many files opening. But it would definitely be out before June. Definitely.
Right now?
And I'm actually walking it out. I'm on a 21-day journey now, and I'm documenting what I'm going through and what's happening, the thoughts, what God is showing me, the scriptures, my thoughts. I'm actually journaling it day by day, so that at the end of the 21 days, which will be February the 28th, I will pretty much already have the book, but just need to, make it pliable for others to be able to do. And this has to do with just refocusing, breaking bad habits and creating new ones. And we know it takes 21 days to either make or break a habit. And so I had a habit I needed to break, and I had one I needed to create in its place. And so that's what this 21-day journey is about. So I'm looking forward to that being released, so I can help so many other people who are going through some of what I went through, or got some bad habits they need to get rid of and ones they need to pick up.
Ooh, I love that. I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, you got so much great stuff going on, Dr. Kim. Ooh,
I'm excited.
So how can our audience get in touch with you? I'm going to go ahead and...
Okay. Well, make sure I spell my name differently. I know I keep the... go this way. Kemberly is spelled K-E-M, and it's at the bottom of the screen. It's coming. Kemberly, K-E-M-B-E-R-L-Y, McKenzie, M-C-K-E-N-Z-I-E. So www.kemberly dot KemberlyMcKenzie.com, www.KemberlyMcKenzie.com. You can go on there. The shirts aren't up yet. We're still working on the back of the website to put those on there, but you can definitely order a copy of either the book, the journal, or get the bundle. The bundle is cheaper. You can go on Amazon. You can get the ebook off of Amazon, the book off of Amazon. And you can also reach me through email. And it's my mantra, keep everything moving. So keep everything moving at gmail.com. Keep everything moving. Kim, Kem. Keep everything moving at gmail.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Kemberly. Any final words for our audience before we finish up today? We are actually at we're a little over 30 minutes, but hey, you know what? When it's a good conversation, we're going to just keep going. So
sorry.
Any words for our audience?
Yeah, I just want to encourage everyone out there, 2 things. Keep walking. Keep walking. Turn the page. Turn the page. Better is on the other side. And then my mantra, which is Kim, keep everything moving. And when we say keep everything moving, we don't mean that you don't acknowledge that things are happening to you or that you don't take time to feel what's happening to you. No, you stop, you acknowledge it, you feel it, but you remember that this is not the end of you. Your chaos and confusion is not your concrete conclusion. Your chaos and confusion is not your concrete conclusion. It's just part of the process that you have to go through. So dust yourself up, get up, dust yourself off, and keep everything moving. Keep walking.
That's right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kim. Well, look, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put Girl on Fire back on, and we're going to go ahead and close out. So thank you all so much for joining us for another Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Authors Network Spotlight with our wonderful and amazing Dr. Kemberly McKenzie. And here we go.
All right. Thank you, Tiffany and Phoenix Magazine. Woo!
Right. She's on fire, everybody. Keep an eye out on this one. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll see you on the flip side, everybody. Take care.
Blessings.